Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today I'm in conversation with Senator David Coltart, the mayor of the city of Bulawayo. Bulawayo, I must correct that, otherwise people will kill me. The mayor of the city of Bulawayo. If you enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Let's get down to some business. David, welcome for the third or fourth time to In Conversation with Trevor.
Trevor, it's always good to be with you.
David, I must say that I sat through the morning and watched the city council management, councillors and everybody else doing their presentation, and members of the audience, investors and so forth. I was impressed by the teamwork. I was impressed by the professionalism. I'm impressed by the image that your team is projecting to investors. Talk to me about this.
Well, wonderful things about our city is that for many decades, it has been well run. We've always prided ourselves in being the most efficient council, and that goes back even to the 1950s. But it applies to the last few decades as well, although we've had our difficulties as a city. Comparative to many other cities, it is well run. And I often say to the public, coming into this new role as mayor, I've been pleasantly surprised by the professionalism of many of our staff. What we've been trying to do in the last couple of years is build greater cooperation between councillors and management. We've introduced a couple of changes in terms of the way we run things. And I was telling you earlier about one of the monthly meetings that we have, a closed-door meeting where we have the chairs of our committees and the directors of management in a closed meeting, no press, no detailed minutes, and it's an opportunity to thrash things out, to say where are the problem areas, how do we deal with them, and everyone has the right to bring matters to the agenda. So we open it up, but we also try to install teamwork, and I think it's reflected in this conference. This conference was not initiated by me. It was,
before you go there, so we are at Khumbulekhaya Investment Conference, a fantastic initiative. Talk to me about why this initiative. The message that I'm getting is we are open for business as the city of Bulawayo. I'm a Bulawayo boy, so I could do what I'm doing right now for free because I love the city of Bulawayo. Are you open for business?
Absolutely, but not in the general way. We want to be very specific and go beyond mere words to ensure. But let me answer your question. So this came about primarily through our Business Development Committee, chaired by Councillor Mashlangu. I stress, I wasn't the one that initiated this. They did, along with our Business Development Officer, Mr. K. Moyo. And what you see here today is the fruit of their work. And it's an indication that, often the mayor gets all the attention, but I think it's a demonstration that actually at a lower level, we have people who have this city passionately at heart, who have a good level of competence, who are working together. To pull off a conference like this, you have to have that cooperation. And we're seeing the fruit of that today. But this is just the start. We've come to Harare, as I said in my opening remarks. We'd like to take this type of thing to Johannesburg or even further, because we realize that there's a lot of talent in the diaspora. People who love the city, with a passion. They were educated in our schools. They got to where they are now because of what the city gave them. And so we want to tap into that to say, now's your time to come and pay back, invest in our city. Let's take the city to a new level.
Fantastic. I want us to go to some heavy lifting. The master plan, which I think has a lot of stuff in there that a lot of people have been talking about. Talk to us about the master plan. I gather it got to be gazetted last year. Talk to us about the master plan.
So the master plan is the new master plan. If you look at it from a geographical perspective, you'll see that the boundaries of the city grow dramatically. If you think of where the airport is now, the new master plan takes the boundaries of the city north of where the airport is. So if you imagine in the next 25 years, that entire area, which is now a bush, becoming residential areas and factories and the like, you'll see where we envisage our city going. But of course, it's a lot more than just about geographical area. As we spoke about this morning, we're seeking to reimagine the city. We're not talking about necessarily taking the city back to the 1950s, where it was primarily known for large industrial operations. We would like to make use of AI and new technology.
Smart seems to be one of the words in the pay line.
Absolutely. But critically, tourism. Tourism is a huge expanding market throughout the world, with air travel and the like. But our city is terribly undermarketed. We have these unique attractions. And we believe that if we can promote other areas, new areas like that, using AI, tourism, that we can greatly expand
renewable energy?
Absolutely. We are looking at solar systems. We are working actively on trying to attract investment for a waste management facility that can convert plastic into energy, can convert plastic into aggregates used in roads and the like. We've got to move ahead.
But looking at the program, I get the sense that you've identified problems that you're turning into opportunities, which present themselves as investment opportunities. The problems that you've had with water presents opportunities for investors. The problems that we've had with sanitation presents opportunities for investors. Road rehabilitation, opportunities for investors, and indeed investment itself. Talk to me, for you, as far as you're concerned, which one of these are the key problem areas that you're trying to solve?
Well, water obviously is critical. Without water, you can't attract investors to a city. And unfortunately, Bulawayo is associated with water shortages. It's partly because of our region, but it's partly because we haven't invested in the physical infrastructures we need to. But we've made good progress in that regard. Secondly, investors want to come into a sane environment, a clean environment, a healthy environment. They're not going to come in and build factories or get businesses running if they feel that their workers or they themselves will get ill. So sanitation is critical. And tied into that, let me just dwell a bit on waste management and roads, the interconnect. You know, with new technology now and our pivotal position being the headquarters of the railways. I often use this example. Do you know that Sweden imports plastic waste from the rest of Europe? Bulawayo needs to be importing plastic waste from Zambia, from Botswana, from northern South Africa, from the rest of Zimbabwe, using the railway to have a waste management facility which will then convert that plastic into aggregate, which can be used in roads and plastic construction. So it's that kind of forward thinking that we need. That's sanitation. The third thing is the informal sector. We need to restore order in the city, and by developing markets around the periphery of the city, providing an attractive environment for those in the informal sector, but critically then allowing the formal sector to operate out of their existing businesses.
I had talk of medical tourism. Talk to me about that. I mean, I see a lot of potential in that.
Well, we've seen the development of some amazing hospitals recently. In the last few years, we've seen the development of Cure Children's Hospital, which is an American charity, which has established this cutting edge. We've seen great expansion in Mater Dei Hospital. It's almost doubled in capacity. And we have other proposals before us at present to build new hospitals. Coming into that, and I'm bouncing around a bit.
Let's do that.
I spoke about the need to increase the number of flights that we have coming into the city. If you think about medical tourism, you think about India. people fly all the way to India to get medical attention. But that's partly, it's not just because of the expertise of their doctors. It is also because of the ease and the cheapness of getting to India. So when we talk about tourism and medical tourism and sports tourism, a key component of that is ensuring that we have much better connectivity, primarily through air. Now, there are a few things that have happened. Increased flights to Johannesburg. Just last week, FastJet announcing increased flights to Victoria Falls. We're hoping to get increased connectivity to Addis, to Nairobi, to Cape Town, to Durban. And one of the things that will facilitate that is the expansion of the runway. When you land at Bulawayo runway, well, in fact, when you take off, you'll see that there's a runway which stops, because the original design of Bulawayo Airport was for it to be much longer than it presently is. We can't take fully laden, wide-bodied aircraft, and that's something that we need to dream about with government if we are going to increase the number of passengers coming to our city.
The last time we spoke, David, you were talking about the possibility of glass block Bopoma Dam. It's now a reality. Please share with us the impact of that.
I wish I could say
forward.
It's an actual reality today,
been approved.
But we are inching closer.
Right.
Dr. Masuka, the Minister of Water, earlier on this year, superbly agreed that we can now enter into a direct contract between the City Council and the Civil Engineering Consortium. That has been agreed to now, and we are literally, I think, a few weeks away reaching agreement with that consortium regarding the water offtake purchase agreement, which is a key component of them securing the international finance, something like $98 million. That we need from Standard Bank in South Africa, the African Development Bank. They are on the site. The consortium is on the site. They are raring to go.
That is good news.
We've just got to cross these T's, dot the I's, and then that dam construction will commence.
That's good news, guys. Don't you agree? There you go. There you go. The other thing, David, that I liked about looking at what you're doing is there is an effort to be creative in resolving some of the problems that you have. For instance, the council, you want to do 100% ownership of a water sanitation project. You also have a different way of looking at sanitation. You're going to be partnering with, rather setting aside and ring fencing money from 10D3 investments, which you're going to be using for rehabilitating roads. I like that kind of thinking. That thinking says we are different when we want to do things differently. Where is that coming from?
So it comes from an understanding that although we've got talent in the City Council, we have budgetary constraints, and we also have human resource constraints. We don't have the full gamut of talent. And we need these partnerships with private sector. We need partnerships with people who have that expertise. For example, we are in the process now of rehabilitating 2 of our sewage plants, Hazelby 2 and 3, working very closely with a private property developer that needs to discharge the waste from that new property development through our systems. They've got the expertise to rehabilitate those sewage plants, which we don't have, and we don't have the money at present. We've reached a contract with them. And what we say to this conference, to the investors here today, is that we genuinely are open for business. We would like to engage in a conversation with potential investors to work in a mutually beneficial way.
I had Mr. Nkomo presenting this morning, and his presentation touched my heart, and that is essentially to say we are the ones that we've been waiting for. The Bulawayo citizens, Bulawayo-born Zimbabweans, and those indeed all across the diaspora. This is an opportunity for us to jump in and make a difference. What's your message to Zimbabweans in the diaspora who might be hesitant? What's your message to Zimbabweans looking at this and saying, what's different to all the other investment conferences?
So we can't change the macroeconomic environment very much. We have very little power to change the central government's economic policies and even the perception that people have about Zimbabwe. And we have to operate within that. But we're very positive about our city, about the teamwork demonstrated in our city, about the infrastructure of our city. It's a well-constructed city. We're also confident about the passion of our people. One thing that I've been blown away by as mayor has been the goodwill, not just of the citizens of that great city who live there now, but citizens right across the world. I've been approached by engineers in America who went to school in the city, who've wanted to help, for example, with Glass Block Dam. There's something about it, and you were raised there. You understand some of that.
I'll tell you what that something is, David. So that something is, as I was sitting here listening to Love More Majivana being played, it took me straight to Magogo Township, playing in the dusty streets of Magogo Township, supporting Highlanders Football Club. Highlanders wins, Bruce Grobler comes to Eshabin nearby, or whatever you want to call it. You can't take away that from me. It doesn't matter where I am. I will always want to come back to that city. And so what you're doing is fantastic. It taps into that very rich seam of passion, of emotion. So I'm very excited about this. What is the icing on the cake? You've pulled my heartstrings.
So let me come back to understand what gives it its soul. And you know, you can build a new city like Dubai out of a desert, and yes, it's got a vibrancy. But unless it's got a lot of depth, it doesn't have soul. And quite frankly, the depth of that city is unique. If you take the Metopus, the largest concentration of rock art going back thousands of years, and the passion that you see in that rock art, that's at the foundation. Then you go to Kami ruins, right on the boundary. There's no other city anywhere in Southern Africa with that ancient civilization right there. And then you've got the more recent history, the proud history of King Mzilikazi, the proud history of King Lobengula. That is what gives it soul and vibrancy. And it's reflected in the culture, in the art, and that's what makes it so attractive.
And I must interrupt there, because you then go and refurbish this mayor's car. I mean, wasn't that beautiful? I mean, that's amazing. Here is also another piece of work where Bulawayo boys come together all over the world and say, we can help you do this. Talk to me about that project.
Well, that's just a token.
Life is about tokens. Yeah. Life is about celebrating small things.
Sure it is. I mean,
Don't be shy now.
It's a lovely story, because the guy who helped us was an Air Zimbabwe pilot who ended up as a captain on Emirates. And I contacted him and I said, listen, we need these spare parts. This is an ancient vehicle. We'll only find them in Britain because that's where the vehicle was made. And he drove around Britain and found the parts. And we then found a mechanic.
Isn't that a beautiful story?
It's a lovely story. And our engineers within the council. And what I say, when I say it's a token, I say this is a picture of what we can achieve. Getting that vehicle running again didn't create a single job for anyone. It didn't help our sewage plant. But I see it as part of the vision for the future. We do these little things, and we're doing other little things. We want to fix up our clock and our fountain and get our youth centers working again. Because it's all a part of saying to residents, actually, this city can be a lot better than it has been. This city has a proud history, and we're going back to that history, and we're going to make it even better.
I had somebody who actually, what he said, got me thinking that we used to say, and it says that in the age of renewable energy, smart thinking, and so forth, that's not the way we should be looking at. Is that what the city is doing? Are you running away from Ntutuziyatun?
I'm not sure that I understand your question about new technology. It's a matter of establishing a blend. You have to blend the old with the new. So let's come to tourism, for example. We have this incredible product. Okay. Rock art in the Metopus, King Mzilikazi's grave, the Lobengula's parade ground. That's the past, but you can't just rely on the past. You've got to use new technology to promote that, to market it well. You need conferences like this to persuade airlines to come. And when you get that blend right, then you start cooking with gas.
All right. You sidestepped the question, but you ended up answering it. Great. The other thing that I'm fascinated about, the way you're going to deal with Richmond landfill site. Do you want to talk to me about that? I like, again, the different kind of thinking.
Okay. So Ngozi Mine is one of our headaches. For those who live downwind of it, I've got colleagues here today who live in Cowdrey Park, and they have to deal with the toxic fumes that emanate from that. It is an absolute nightmare for us. But it's one of those things that if we are visionary, we can see that can utterly turn the city around. I spoke about it earlier. That site is very close to the Victoria Falls railway line. A short railway spur to that site would enable us to import plastic to that site. If we manage to secure investors to come in on a commercial basis to start not just processing the existing site, but importing plastic that we use partly for the generation of energy, but most importantly for the generation of these plastic aggregates. As we've seen in Sweden and Japan and other countries, that can become a hugely profitable business for that investor, for the city, deal with the toxic fumes at the same time. It is win, win, win. And then finally, these aggregates, perhaps we could have a plastic road to Victoria Falls.
Oh, wow.
It has been done.
Wow. That's very interesting, Dave, because I was in Victoria Falls last week, and I was speaking to Mati Nyazema, who owns Mbano Hotel, and she says that the bad state of Victoria Falls Road is affecting tourism. So this point that you're making here is a very important point, David. David, I've already told you what makes me so excited about Bulawayo, and one of the things that I so passionately still relate to is the fact that after school, we would go to a city council-run sports club, play around with weights, play some basketball, do some swimming, play cricket and that kind of stuff. Is this going to come back with what you're doing? Is this part of what you want to do? What you're doing?
Well, let me not raise expectations in a way that would be unfair and unrealistic. I often say to people, this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And we need to understand the gravity of the problems facing the city, their breadth and their depth. And this is one example. You've got these youth centers throughout the city. We've got 8 libraries, for example, across the city. The reality at present is that they're not running well. But it has to be part of our vision. We have to restore all of this and expand it and use modern technology to get the internet into those centers. But we're a long way off that. We've got to get these fundamental issues of water, sanitation, the informal sector working. We have to get the city council working from a financial perspective effectively so that we have the resources to invest back into that. But the short answer to your question, it has to be done, because if we don't take young people with us, we leave them in the current despair that they have. We have to give them hope for the future.
And giving them hope for the future, sports plays a big part of it. You are a sports person yourself. You love sports. You love cricket. You love rugby. What does the city of Bulawayo have to offer those investors interested in those spaces?
Coming back to now, you've got me on something.
I was going to do that.
So I'm going to talk about
Right.
that. So we should be the hub of sports tourism. We have Barber Fields. We have Hartsfield, which is the only ground dedicated to rugby. I've been in contact with the Sables this past week to say, for goodness sake, we need our champion Sables playing at Hartsfield. We've got Queens. We've got this
That's the time to ululate, guys. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
We've got Queens. We've got the best hockey stadium in the country. We've
Yeah.
got White City as well, a wonderful athletics state. But you haven't mentioned my favorite sport, which is mountain biking.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, we have mountain biking heaven in the Metopus. Mountain biking is the new golf in the world. If you look in South Africa, for example, the Wine to Wales race in the Western Cape attracts 7,000 participants. If we can market the Metopus and Bulawayo, there is a whole new tourist market out there just in mountain biking. And on top of that, we've got golf. There are very few cities in the world which have such a wonderful spread of sports facilities. But the other thing is that they don't have our unique climate. So we've got this combination of sports facilities and a place where you can play sport 365 days in a year.
What are you selling to an investor who wasn't born in Bulawayo? What are you selling to an investor who loves the continent, wants to do good things? They're in New York, they're in London, they're in Johannesburg, they've got cash. I had Ukolisani Moyo talking about patient capital. What are you selling to those?
I describe our city as the world's best kept secret. The reason I say that is it goes beyond just its physical infrastructure. I've spoken about the goodwill. We have some of the best race relations in the world. We have some of the lowest crime rates in the world. We have fabulous schools. We have improving health facilities. We have all these sports facilities. We are in this pivotal position where we're close to Botswana and the Kalahari and Wangi and Victoria Falls and Gonarezo and South Africa. It is a place where you can come not just to invest, but you can come to live. And so my message to people sitting in New York, in that concrete jungle, in that London, and getting rained upon every day and having to catch a tube. Don't just come and invest in our city. Come home and live and enjoy all that we have, which is our best kept secret.
Oh, that's beautiful right there. As we close, property is going to be a big thing in Bulawayo. I heard the talk about incubation for small businesses. Talk to me about that, particularly the investment into property and incubating a small business.
Well, let me turn that question on its head. One of the problems that we have for our citizens is that our property at present is undervalued. It's a huge opportunity for people coming in. If you compare the price of houses in Harare or business premises in Harare compared to Bulawayo, Bulawayo is literally half price. And that's a wonderful opportunity for investors. But it is a problem for the residents of Bulawayo because they're not getting true value. But it has to be win-win. What we say to people is come and invest, come and buy. We can't stop that. And my hope is that it comes back to basic economics, supply and demand. If people understand the value of our city and the potential, then there'll be greater demand for property. Property prices will go up. Local residents will benefit from that. But we need to look beyond that. I come back to your master plan. We've got a great town planning department. They have planned this city exceptionally well. We've got this huge potential area for growth in the city, this wonderful city. When we get our dams full, when we get cleanliness back, it's going to be a great place to come and buy vacant land and build your house, build your home, build your future, build your factory, create employment.
My heart is skipping as you're talking. David, as we close again, I've been totally impressed by this. I want to give recognition to your entire team and to yourself. And I'm going to invite the audience, please, to just a round of applause to this amazing team that is being ably led by the mayor, of course, and the town clerk and the acting town clerk, who is from the way she was answering questions, she's a fierce lawyer, wouldn't want to be.
She is indeed.
And to Kolisa Moya, I did say, so well done for what you're doing. What's your final message? I'm going to give you 1 minute. Your final pitch, your 2 minutes pitch to both the Bulawayans and those in the diaspora, those in New York and those in London. What are you saying to them?
So my final pitch, and you see it from here, we're a team. We're a team working together. We are also proactive. We've come to Harare. We didn't just sit in Bulawayo. We came to Harare. We want to go further afield. We want to work with people. We realize the need for this synergy. It's not just us trying to do this on our own. We need others to come in. We will do everything in our power to ensure that the rule of law is respected, that we cooperate, that we make things as efficient as possible, and that we build a future together.
Awesome. But I must ask you this before you leave, because if I don't, some people are going to kill me out there. Why Harare and not Bulawayo? Why didn't you hold this in Bulawayo and not Harare? Why did you not give the investors the opportunity to go around and sample the city?
There are some economic realities out there. The fact of the matter is that most investment capital in the country resides in Harare. There is very little spare capital in our city. That is an economic reality. And the same applies further afield. If we look at Zimbabweans in the diaspora, those who are in Johannesburg, those who are in London and New York, they have a lot more capital than we do at home. What we need, I come back to the issue of synergy. We need those people in Harare who love our city, who've come from it, who are where they are now because of what that city gave them, to come back, work with us, and achieve this vision that we've been speaking about.
Wonderful. Thank you, David. I think David Coltart, the mayor of the city of Bulawayo, Senator David Coltart, but I think everybody in this room here need to give themselves a round of applause, because it is you that are going to change Bulawayo. It is you that you've been waiting for to invest in Bulawayo rather than develop Bulawayo. So thank you so much for this initiative, Khumbulekhaya Investment Conference that you might be taking throughout the world. And we wish you all the very best in what you're doing. So at home and here in this conference hall, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, cheers to you all.